It's Manchester City versus Liverpool tomorrow as the reigning champions look to put themselves back in pole position and avenge last season's humiliating 4-0 defeat at the Etihad. In his pre-match press conference, Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp described the titanic clash with City, who have toasted titles in 2 of their last 3 campaigns, as the most difficult game in world football, despite their recent form. Pep Guardiola's men are languishing in 10th and yet to register back-to-back victories in the league all season. A frustrating series of injuries have not helped, leaving City stuck in a curious malaise, but such setbacks have not proved too significant for their opponents, who have stormed to 5 successive victories since the season-ending injury to their defensive talisman Virgil van Dijk. That said, although Sergio Aguero is out, Kevin De Bruyne, Raheem Sterling, and Phil Foden, players who ran riot in the 4-0 evisceration back in July, will all be fit and raring to go. Liverpool's makeshift defence is set to undergo its toughest test yet, and Klopp knows it. Gabriel Jesus is back in contention for City after a lengthy lay-off and a substitute appearance in midweek. Fellow marksman Sergio Aguero remains sidelined, with Guardiola telling the press on Friday, "No, he's not ready. Not yet." Fernandinho and Benjamin Mendy are also ruled out with muscle injuries. As for Liverpool, Klopp has allayed concerns surrounding the fitness of Diogo Jota, who picked up a minor knock in the 5-0 demolition of Atalanta in midweek. "Nobody mentioned Diogo to me," he told the press. "Yesterday, Thursday, was second-day recovery, he was involved. So that looked fine." Joel Matip is also set to feature after missing the last 2 games through injury, but Thiago, the summer signing from Bayern Munich, will not, as the Spaniard continues to recover from the Richarlison horror tackle at Goodison Park 3 weeks ago. Predicted lineups: Manchester City, Ederson, Walker, Diaz, Laporte, Cancelo, De Bruyne, Rodri, Gundogan, Ferran Torres, Jesus, Sterling. Liverpool, Alisson, Alexander-Arnold, Matip, Gomez, Robertson, Wijnaldum, Henderson, Firmino, Salah, Jota, Maine. Somehow, the latest edition of the Klopp vs Guardiola rivalry has both more and less riding on it than ever before. Liverpool and Manchester City are wounded, ready for a historic loss. And yet the enduring chaos of this unique campaign means defeat on Sunday would barely put a dent in their title challenges. That's the sort of cognitive dissonance we have come to expect in the year of COVID-19, a semi-permanent state of unwieldiness and lurching narrative uncertainty. The 2020-21 Premier League campaign was never going to escape the effects of the new normal. Liverpool are clearly underperforming, but they're top of the league. Man City are at their lowest ebb since Guardiola's arrival, but win this weekend and they'll be a game in hand away from usurping Klopp's side at the summit. When 2 wounded giants meet, it should mean everything to get the win. But assuming the congested fixture list means only around 85 points to win the Premier League, that is no longer the case. The pressure is both on and off. For the neutral, at least, this is good news, the contradictions pointing to another exhausting game between Liverpool and Man City played at a swirling, spring-loaded tempo. Ignore the form guide. Disregard that Liverpool are struggling for fluency and that Man City cannot score. Neither has been offered the chance to play against expansive opponents until now, instead tasked with breaking down stubborn defences drilled by understandably cautious managers. Against each other, all the old defensive flaws, and all the old attacking patterns, should re-emerge. That's because Guardiola has embraced rapid counter-attacks as a way to beat Klopp in recent meetings. In the 4-0 win back in July, it was striking how often Man City played quick vertical passes into Kevin De Bruyne, deployed higher than usual in central attacking midfield, who then turned and ran at the heart of the Liverpool defence. It worked brilliantly, cutting the visitors open as Raheem Sterling and Phil Foden attacked spaces behind Liverpool's high full backs. Guardiola generally doesn't like to do this, instead recycling the ball after a transition, resetting into his perfectly choreographed shape for attacks in an orderly fashion. Not so for Liverpool games, and that should mean the contest is pulled from end to end on Sunday as counters are hit back with counter-counters. Not unlike the second half of Man City's game against Leeds United. Marcelo Bielsa forced the chaos at Elland Road. This time, Guardiola will be the instigator. Whereas City will pass vertically through the pitch via De Bruyne, Liverpool will most likely look for raking long diagonal passes, either out to the full-backs or straight over the top of City's high line, forcing them back. This is the primary strategy deployed by Klopp in recent meetings, and it has often brought them joy. Look out for Jordan Henderson and Thiago working tirelessly to make space out wide, joining Andrew Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold to provide wall passes on the flanks and form a trio with Sadio Mane or Mohamed Salah. Liverpool will no doubt target the wings, focusing on isolating or overwhelming João Cancelo on the left, as well as getting their forwards to slip through on the outside of a centre-back partnership that is yet to be truly tested in the Premier League. In the individual battles that develop once Liverpool's direct approach progresses the ball into the final third, the attacking team will hold plenty of advantages. Mane versus Ruben Dias is a major challenge for such an inexperienced defender. While Cancelo is likely to be outthought by Salah and Alexander-Arnold as they alternate between sitting wide and occupying the right half space, there is also a decent chance Robertson and Alexander-Arnold will find space to cross from deep. Given that Sterling and Riyad Mahrez aren't always the best at tracking their man, it is more difficult to predict which attacking areas favour Man City. The loss of Virgil van Dijk is yet to be felt by Liverpool, and clearly this hands an edge to Ferran Torres, once again likely to deputise as a striker after his goal-scoring performance in the Champions League in midweek. His battle with Joe Gomez and Joel Matip is a crucial one. Mahrez is the most potent threat, however. In Liverpool's 2-2 draw with Everton, space opened up for Carlo Ancelotti's side when the left centre-back, first Van Dijk, then Gomez, was pulled wide to cover for the marauding Robertson, in turn creating a gap for Dominic Calvert-Lewin to be slid through. City will no doubt target this area via the movement of Mahrez, with De Bruyne the looming threat from the right wing where he tends to hang, pulling Liverpool's defenders too far out. Alternatively, perhaps Sterling and Mahrez will get isolated on the flanks, as they have so often been this season when Guardiola has gone for a safe double pivot of Rodri and Ilkay Gundogan, which he surely will on Sunday. Maybe he'll even spring a huge surprise, as he did in the 1-0 victory over Arsenal when a wonderfully indecipherable 4-2-3-1 saw a half a dozen City players ferreting about in new roles. Oh, and maybe Klopp will start, or at least bring off the bench, some of the new generation of players who impressed in the midweek destruction of Atalanta, such as Curtis Jones or hat-trick hero Diogo Jota, further confusing the tactical pattern. That's the problem. It has always been difficult to predict what these two extraordinarily intelligent tacticians will do, or what the latest tweaks will look like as they adapt and react to each fresh encounter. But these unknowns have only intensified in 2020-21, a season defying all expectations, littering the Premier League with implausible and incongruous matches. The best thing to do is just sit back and enjoy it. In a Premier League table replete with surprises, perhaps the biggest is Manchester City's name down in 10th. City won 8 of their last 10 games in the league last season, 7 of which were secured by a margin of 3 goals or more, and looked primed for a genuine shot at the Champions League before European minnows Olympique Lyonnais shockingly beat them to progress the semi-finals at their expense. Reinforcements were made in the summer as Ruben Dias bolstered the defence and Ferran Torres was signed to offer yet another option going forward. But with just 37 days between the start of this season and the end of the last, things haven't yet clicked for them. Rumours surrounding the future of Guardiola continue to circulate, and for City's sake you would hope they are just that, rumours. Few teams can handle the intensity and tempo of the Catalans' possession-based system when it is at its best, and after an impressive start to their Champions League campaign, perhaps it's a case of when, not if, they rediscover their domestic groove. Liverpool have enjoyed a similarly emphatic start on the continent, with Diogo Jota's hat-trick in the midweek rout over Atalanta helping the Reds to a third win from 3 in the group stages. If Liverpool were going to start conceding, then they would have needed someone to start scoring, and that's what Jota has done. The conceding part, though, has not yet come to pass. The likes of Joe Gomez, Reece Williams and Nathan Phillips have performed admirably over the past couple of weeks as Klopp has sought to fill the void left by VVD, conceding just 2 goals in a 5-game winning streak. This, though, will be their toughest test yet. HREE's successive wins perhaps demonstrate that things are beginning to fall into place for City. And here is an opportunity to advertise that on the biggest stage of all, against the reigning champions. Guardiola will know that picking up a result could kickstart his side's season, and with Gabriel Jesus returning to the fold, they appear well equipped to do just that. Prediction: Manchester City 2-1 Liverpool.